more than a minute. Who are the judges? This seems like it should be an easy question. Who are the judges? What are the judges? What is the Bible talking about when they discuss judges? And some of these questions aren't terribly difficult, but some of them have a little bit more complexity than you might expect. First of all, let's deal with what a judge is, because when the Bible talks about judges, it doesn't really mean the same thing as we mean when we talk about judges nowadays. You see, in the Bible, the judge has a legal connotation to it, and so there certainly is an element where the judge could function as what we would call a judge, but to think that a judge is just someone who sits in legal judgment over someone is really missing a lot of what is going on with the biblical understanding of a judge. You see, the word in Hebrew is mishpat, which has, like I said, has some juridical implications to it. However, mishpat deals far more with this idea of deliverance. You can almost think of the judges as the deliverers or the champions of Israel. The hero that rises up to save the day. It's in many ways a much better way for us to understand what a judge is. Now, the question that is probably most complicated in this sense of who are the judges is, who are they? Well, a simple answer would be to say that there are 12 judges, and my notes just disappeared in front of me. That there are 12 judges. 12 is a good round biblical number. We like that number, so it's nice. And so if we're going to count 12 judges, they go in this order. First we have Othniel, then Ehud and Shamgar. The fourth judge is difficult. Narrowly speaking, it's Barak, although it's worth recognizing that Deborah is also described as a judge, although she seems to fit more of that legal aspect. And then the one who actually delivers the people in that story is Yael. Be sure to check out that video. The fifth judge then is Gideon. Then we have some rapid fire ones here. Tola, Jair, Jephthah, Ibsan, Elon, Abdon, and then finally the 12th judge would be Samson. We have varying degrees of detail on these stories. Chances are, the more you recognize a name, the more details we have in their story. Like I said, this is a little complicated. There are certainly 12 judges in the book of Judges. It fits very nicely in the scheme of things, yet there are 2, maybe 3 other individuals that kind of need to be dealt with. We'll start at the end. There's a case to be made that the last judge is not Samson, even though he is the last judge in the book of Judges, but rather the last judge of Israel is a man named Eli, who's one of the opening characters of the book of 1 Samuel. This kind of makes sense. We can see the structure there. Eli is functioning in much the same way as the judges. He's also doing a terrible job of functioning as a judge, which seems to fit that if you didn't catch the toilet bowl image of things going downhill. In fact, Eli loses the Ark of the Covenant. Things are going so badly. So it's possible that you can count Eli as the last judge, even though he doesn't appear in the book of Judges. There's also a case to be made that there's 1 or 2 judges that come before Othniel as our first kind of official judge. The one that has a little bit more credence to it is Caleb. Caleb is discussed in the very beginning of the book of Judges, although he seems to be before the introduction ends. So it's kind of hard to say, is Caleb one of these early judges that precedes the main judges, or is it just introduction? In the same vein, do we count Joshua? Joshua can very easily be seen as this deliverer of the people of Israel. Are his actions in the book of Joshua? Can we understand them as Joshua being the first and the greatest of the judges, with Caleb then following, and then Othniel in the cycle getting going after that? It's hard to tell. I think from a structure standpoint, it's probably best to think of 12 judges. Again, number 12 is significant in the Bible, so if we can find 12 judges, that's a nice thing. But you can get yourself 13, 14, or even 15 judges. So that is up to you and how you choose to interpret who the judges in the Bible are. Finally, and I went into a decent amount of detail with this in our introduction to the book of Judges. But if we're looking at who the judges are, we really shouldn't miss the greatest of the judges, who does not by name appear in the book of Judges, although he's present, and that is Jesus Christ, the second person of the Trinity. We see that he is the archetypical judge. He is the deliverer, not just in the locales and the history of the book of Judges, but he is the deliverer of all God's people. In fact, it's probably best to understand all these judges, all 12 to 15 of them, as little pictures or images of Christ, flawed as they are, giving us clues, if you will, into how God saves his people and how his salvation will ultimately be accomplished by the one true judge, the great mishpat, the great deliverer and champion, the person of Jesus Christ.